again, the important issues in these cases, I feel, is an explanation of the complex situations which we have to face in our professional life. The opening case in this book itself presents a challenge. The Queen Mary II case, which we may have discussed in the last class, gave us a new kind of challenge. That is, you are well versed with developing solutions for companies which are there on land, so now develop something which is on water. Similarly, if we are asked to develop a solution for a plane, there are different kinds of challenges that we have to encounter. Unlike other professionals who have a fixed body of knowledge, for example, for a doctor, the maximum thing he has to know is to know the human body. Anything he knows beyond that is just an addition. His primary competence is knowing the working of a human body. Even if he is practicing today or practicing after 30 years, human body by and large will remain same, not change much. Similarly, for a lawyer, depending on the specializations he has chosen, he has to be competent with the constitution, the CRPCs, IPCs and things like that. They may be modified, but they are slow. Unlike their professions, our profession is not that simple. The basic challenge in our profession is the lack of what I may call as a framework of the basic ideas which we should be able to understand very clearly. Every new case is a challenge because it presents a new situation for us which we may not have thought at all. Queen Mary II was a classic case. The present case which I want to discuss, is another example, the Commerce Bank case. A brief explanation is given about the case, I hope all of you read. The business challenge is this. The business challenge is interesting because it turns the conventional wisdom heads down. What is the conventional wisdom regarding taking IT to banks? Online banking, etc. Meaning, we are more used to giving solutions as doctors prescribe solutions after seeing basic symptoms. Decision taking using a if-else kind of a manner. If you have headache, take this. If you have this, do this. That kind of decision is not right. Mainly because the basic business problem here is quite opposite to the conventional wisdom. To understand the business problem here, you should be well versed with the history of how IT came into banking. Because banking is one of the areas where IT made early progress. We all know how Citibank became a well-known name in banking circles because of a revolution which they brought in the ATM. We also know how during 1989-1990 there was a huge protest from Indian banks when there was a move to introduce computers. The classic argument given was, and it is given till today, is that when this computer comes, what will all the people who are working in the banks do? They have to go home. George Fernandes was leading this protest. Indian bureaucracy, many people think is filled with clowns. Not so. They are quite intelligent people. Once they saw that there was a protest to computers, you know what they did? They brought computers anyway. They didn't call it computers. They called them ledger posting machines. So there was no protest. Computers were not brought in. It was ledger posting machines which were brought in. And that is how, in a disguised manner, computers entered into Indian banks. And slowly they become so deep rooted in Indian banking system that today's bank look very different from how it looked before some say 6-7 years. Please understand one thing. We as professionals should know what is the power of the solutions that we develop. When computers entered bank, it is not only computers which entered bank, it is a new work ethic which entered into the banks. Just visualize how banks were before and how they are today. I often quote a wonderful TV advertisement which impressed me a lot of Intel. It shows the picture of a computer entering into a room and suddenly everything changing. The paints, the furniture, the entire make of the room changing over a span of years. It is similar everywhere. I from experience can tell you that if an organization goes for software, for example a hospital, before they were doing manual entry, now they are using it, now they want to use the software. It is not just computers which will come in. With that will come new furniture, new seating arrangement, the walls will be painted new, the door will be new, entire system will change. This is the impact software indirectly has on the society. Why does it happen and all we will not discuss? Because when once computers come in, they will expect AC be put in and AC demands cleanliness and suddenly offices will become clean. This is the indirect impact of software actually. So here what the question is very different for us, because imagine yourself in the shoes of a solution provider and imagine that Commerce Banks comes to you and says we want IT in our bank. The classic solution you would provide is implement a core banking solution. It will integrate all your things. Then you set up some 10 ATMs in 10 different places. Put up a website, let us give e-commerce facility to our clients, everybody will be happy. Yes, you go one step further and provide a m-commerce facility to your clients, they will be very happy. This is a classic solution for this problem. But here, the business requirement is different. If you ask me what computer does in any situation, I can tell you only one thing. Software solutions always undermines the power of middlemen. You see any system where computers are introduced, software is introduced. What does software do? Software eliminates the role of a middleman. A branch of a bank acts as a middleman between the customer and his accounts in the bank. You deposit your check, the clerk there acts as a middleman. He enters the data, deposits your money, he gives you the money, he acts as middleman. Right? Any situation you take, once the software is implemented, his role becomes redundant. Because there is a direct contact between customers and the service they want. Only one thing is elimination of middlemen. Right? So if you implement the core banking solution and do all this, deeply analyzing the framework with the tools that I have given to you, start from basic architecture, see the IT, infrastructure, everything, you will prescribe this solution. But here the challenge is different. The challenge is, Commerce Bank wants the customers to come to branch because they know that there is a significant amount of people who still believe in personal interaction. They don't want to go to ATM, like me. I am not such a big fan of it. Or even eBay. There are a lot many people like this, and Commerce Bank wants to retain them. How can IT help is a question. Now this is some problem which we have never, because whenever we design a computer solution, we want to avoid. They don't want to avoid, they want to retain them and give them more power. One solution, it has been discussed there, it's a very interesting solution, is the idea of verifying the signature on screen has been implemented anyway, it's a part of the portal. That is, when you enter the account number, the signature should pop up, so that much of the time the traditional banking does the clerk going and verifying your signature and then coming back and allowing your check to be liquidified, whatever you want to call it. That is eliminated through that. The question is, can you propose something more to increase the customer service? We are not telling don't come to branch. We want them to come to branch. Why do they avoid coming to the branch? Because the time taken for a transaction is too much. They don't want that. They have to come in, do their work quickly and go. Can you propose some IT solution? Is the classic question. Yes. Who wants to start? Well, there can be many solutions. As I said, I am not prescribing solutions mainly because I want you to think on solutions. The first thing to do here would obviously be, I do not want you to cultivate the practice of giving a solution to the kind of a, what should I say, a gut instinct. But think about the solution, think about the feasibility of that. Think whether it will fit into the framework properly that we want to develop and then build a solution. Well, there are some standard solutions which have been tried out, which we can see whether it will fit into the entire framework. One is, one big area of improvement is the check verification which is done. The other area which consumes more time, as I have personally witnessed, is data entry. Data entry. Much of the time is consumed because the operator is not nationalized bank, mostly I am telling you. People who are of a certain age cannot type in a very fast way, or they will use single finger to type the keys, and that will actually slow down the process to a great extent. One of the solutions could be to make your forms which are adaptable to OMRs, optical marker readers, or the entire system be done in a seamless way to have some kind of OCR, optical character recognition systems, wherein they write the checks for you, you feed that into that system and everything gets automated. So one solution which I would be very interested to explore is to see whether we can automate the data at source data automation, because it eliminates lot of problems in data entries. One, the speed; second, the mistakes. Everything will be avoided. That could be one area which could be explored. The second area which I thought could be explored is to completely eliminate the traditional idea of banks. That is, instead of having a kind of a return request for checks or anything like that, you could integrate a system wherein the banking clerks could have a handheld computer with a camera capturing the face and then doing the face recognition and biometric identification, popping up their accounts and doing a personalized banking instead of mass banking. Personalized banking has a huge market actually. If you see most of the big banks, they do have a personalized banking section. Okay. That could be explored. So there are various avenues. Since not much has been explored, I leave it there itself. I'll go to next case and give my proposal. The third case is a fairly straightforward case. Okay? Discusses the guarantee the customer. It's regarding a company which manufactures and supplies engine parts to aircrafts. One of the services they provide for their customers is to provide with the real-time data about the working of the engines and their parts. Before implementing IT, the case is explained how it was done. They should call the company and then they would give all the details. Now they want to have some other system. They have already implemented. They told it's a web-based solution. The question posed to us for discussion is whether web-based solution can work in such kind of situation. What about security? The question is very simple. For us, if you look at the architecture, this is a B2B e-com. So we have to think in that line. In the B2B e-commerce, specifically talking about safety, there are 2 or 3 solutions. One is the established standard of HTTPS. Second is the idea of VPN. These 2 are very powerful ideas, explored and implemented in a proper way, can give a kind of a solution deployed over web. I will end it here. The chapter and case has a very long case sheet on one of the favorite cases of anyone dealing with such kind of situation. The case is related to Walmart. Without discussing, we can't go ahead because Walmart is the benchmark on how IT can be employed to get maximum benefits. Of course, there are various criticisms on Walmart. The case is regarding the competitor of Walmart, the Albertsons, and the clash between Albertsons and Walmart. That's a chapter and case which is given here. It's a classic case. Classic because, well, in the classic formulation of this problem, Walmart invests so much on IT. The entire revenues of Walmart is more than many of the nations' total revenues. They have some crazy numbers, $56 billion and things like that. That kind of business volume they are handling. So the kind of IT investment they do is also crazy. I would strongly suggest that you see the IT model of Walmart, and many people across the globe have tried to replicate their model. Not many are successful. I should say very few could match the kind of IT deployment Walmart does. Now the question is regarding Albertsons and how Albertsons can match Walmart in IT deployment. The authors, they give us the complete list of investment, IT investment Albertsons did. If you go through the list, you can easily see that the kind of investment they have done were very strategic. But unfortunately what happened, they say, none of them actually gave any benefit. They invested heavily on IT, but on the other hand, there is no returns. It's a classic syndrome. If such a thing happens, a company stops believing in IT and resists from making any further improvement in their IT infrastructure. Over a period of time, because they have stopped their IT investment, their competitor is increasing. They will continue to grow, they will continue to decline. It's a classic syndrome which I have seen. Because, one, many organizations want quick return on their IT, this is not possible. Just because you have latest machinery, just because you have sophisticated software, does not mean you will make more profit. And no person should promise this to any company. Only when the business organization has a sound plan, a strategic plan, has good fundamentals, only then IT can help that organization. If you have a flawed business plan, IT can't save you. Again, I am coming back to the original discussion we had. Information systems is not only about hardware, software or data store. It is equally about people and procedure. Get your procedures right, get your people right, IT can support you. classic lesson we learn here from this. Of course, we can explore more if inputs are given, but I assume this is what we can have for today's class. We will start with the next part of the discussion from the next class pertaining to the relation between business and IT, how we can relate these both. We'll take that up in the next class.
Excuse me, sir. Sir,